guys, welcome back to Clockwork Dandy Noodles for another breakdown of Made in Abyss Season 2, Episode number 4. Before we get going, make sure you guys are subscribed. We're aiming to hit 1k on subscribers. Another fantastic episode which makes me ask all of the questions in the world. Sometimes you get answers, most of the time you get more questions piled on top. Another fantastic episode with a lot of the things to discuss. So let's jump straight in. We finally get our close-up of Fapta. I do love this look. I don't know if I mentioned this last week. I really like the ethereal look. I love the white hair, reddish crystals on the head. She's got 4 arms. I didn't realise she had 4 arms before. Red does say that she's similar to Nanachi in the sense that she's very well put together. Sounds like he's saying that she's made in the Abyss. Roll credits. Really wanted to sneak that one in. I do think there are a lot of similarities between how she looks and how Nanachi looks. I don't know if there's a reason behind this. Both of them were youngish girls when they went down and transformed. Whether there's a reason, I did say that Mitty might have been the reason why Nanachi is the way she is, because Mitty gave her life, whether somebody gave theirs to protect Fapta as well. Although my theory has come crashing down on its head because we see the character I was suspecting right at the end, so I don't think she's actually dead. It does seem that Fapta has been looking for Reg. It seems as well that Reg also knows her, but Reg can't quite remember anything. Gaps in his memories. He can kind of envision meeting her before, whether that's just the effect of being with her, but it seems like it definitely goes a bit deeper than that because she definitely seems to know him completely. But I'd love to know where they actually come from, where did they come from originally, how did they actually know each other, where did they first meet each other. Fapta does remind me of a bit of a cat because of all of that hair and the way that she can move really, really quickly. She also balls up really fast because she sees the public watching her, looking at her. She decides to vanish. It's too much going on. We're back to discussing the idea of value. I did run through a few ideas on how value was inferred last week. It does state that it's not because of Rico's words. The balancing occurred not because Rico said anything. It's because of signals of the soul, which I really like the name of that one. The way you act and the way you believe and the way your brain gives out these signals is what the Abyss picks up on, which again makes the Abyss a sentient being of sort, omnipotent being that can sense all of this in the first place. The idea that you can't really lie about your own feelings instead of going by words. I guess feelings and actions are more believable than words. I did like the idea that they discussed that if you fool yourself enough, it eventually does become your truth, because some people believe the lies and then that lie does become them. They inhibit those things that people say about them. Nanachi is told that the sages know of Mitty, a chain that's going to be bothering me up until next week until we get some answers because of where this chain leads. This week, all of our characters are split up. They're all on their own little paths, which is probably the worst thing you can do when you've reached a new town, and I don't fully trust the hollows. Back to Fapta now. Her lightning fast reflexes. I do wonder if she made Reg or had something to do with the way he was built, because when she's investigating him and lets slip that you're mine and then kind of cuts the sentence off and goes somewhere else, it does make me wonder if she made him, because she also seems to know him very intimately. Like, everyone likes to undress Reg for some reason, but she definitely seems to know everything, like the way that his blood tastes. Do wonder if she's had something to do with the construction of him. Do also wonder if Fapta let Reg go up to the top to go find a mate to bring back down. This human being would be a valuable thing for Reg. She then mentions as well that if you were to spend your time with the humans in human time, nothing happens. They don't change. They just end. That's it. Things just come to an end. There's nothing different about it. Might be a confirmation that time is definitely different in the Abyss and that humans are just finite. They just end, as opposed to a hollow who ends up taking on a new form. With the information of the end now as well, I also wonder if Reg was supposed to go find something valuable, his treasure, bring it back, and that would mark the end of a journey, which I'll want to discuss a bit further when we talk about Nanachi. Use of the unknown language when Reg ends up vanishing and we have Fapta speaking. We don't know what she says. No one here knows because it's not Japanese at this point. It's an unknown language. I like this because it just adds mystery. We feel as much in the dark as our characters do, who are, in a way, they're getting by, but they're also struggling to communicate at times. Invisible barrier that is the language barrier. The Made in Abyss theme starts to play. This is nostalgia all over. I love the Made in Abyss theme. I have it on my phone. I listen to it a couple of times a week at the most. Absolutely adore it because it starts at the piano and then you get those beautiful soft vocals kicking in. Kevin Penkin's soundtrack to Made in Abyss is just one of the best things. But Reg starts to question who he really is. Where did he come from? The cycle of life. And it does end with us seeing those flowers once again, scattering from above, coming down. Those flowers could mean something very important. But sadly, all three of them are now split up. And it's the worst thing on the planet, especially in a situation where I definitely consider this place very dangerous. The toilet, by the way, guys, it eats bugs and it licks. Yeah. And it then leads to this very dangerous situation, which leads to a very bad an attack. You can see where I'm going, right? Poor Mena can't really catch a break. Everybody seems to want to squish Mena in this place. The hollows don't seem very bright, especially the ones who attack Rico again after seeing what's already happened, because they end up tempting and bringing on another balancing. Why would you do something that would end in a balancing? Because this balancing doesn't seem pleasant at the most, although the pink hollow is back and didn't die. So whether they take him apart, take something away from them, then they put him back together again, I'm not quite sure, but definitely seems very, very painful. The pink hollow Ma is now Rico's guide. Everybody's got a guide of sorts, apart from Reg, who's now running away from his guide. Matt and Rico, and we have Nanachi with that guy, Madaka, I think his name's Madaka, something like that. She's with him, so everyone's kind of got a hollow, in a sense, guiding them around, because she even refers to him as a guide. Rico and her explorations into the marketplace, leading her to a restaurant, although her stating that the smell of poo mixed in with the food, not appetizing to me, I'm afraid. But Rico really is the best foodie. She goes out to try new things, eat different foods, and do what the locals are doing. She sees another person who's got a mouth similar to her own, decides that I probably could eat that. I've got similar facial features. But it does seem that the food we're eating this week is spicy bowls. Spicy testicles. Eating with the locals ends up gaining her some knowledge. We are introduced to one of the three sages, and these are the guys I really want to get to know because they seem very important. Like, who are they? What do they do? They might hold the clue or a few secrets to understanding the way the Abyss actually works and what the Abyss actually is. Now, let's talk about the bit right at the end that I really want to discuss because it definitely makes me think bad things. And Nanachi ends up being trapped in with Madaka. She sees Mitty. We know Mitty is dead. I don't quite think she's seeing Mitty, but it's the idea that she's seeing her treasure. And I do wonder, is Nanachi about to die? Because the word we hear are, once somebody finds their true treasure, the thing they're looking for, their journey ends. What happens once your journey ends? What is about to happen to Nanachi? Because I also feel like she was baited into this because he asked her, what is your most valuable thing to you? Because he asks about the companions and then she says Mitty, and now Mitty is appearing. I do wonder if this was all set up to get Nanachi into the same situation we're now about to see with the red-haired character. The red-haired character from episode number 1 isn't dead. I did think she was. She seems to be connected, a bit like the Matrix, plugged into something, and she is petting the black masses that do the balancing, plugged into the Abyss in a sense. Is she seeing things because she's plugged in? Is she seeing something that we can't? Is she being led to see an hallucination like inside the Matrix? But she is definitely alive. I wasn't expecting her to be alive because I figured she would be the one to have sacrificed herself to allow Fapita to take on her role, her appearance, maybe sacrificing for one and the other. And that's why she is known as the Princess of Hollows, because she's born out of longing. Lots and lots of different things to consider, lots of questions now needing more answers. We've definitely got one hell of a cliffhanger. Why is Mitty there? What's going to happen to Nanachi? Where is this all going? Very excited. I do feel like we're maybe getting closer to understanding what the Abyss is and knowing a bit more about the Abyss in general. I love it. It's just weird, traumatic at times, horrific at times. One hell of a journey, and I'm so glad that I'm here breaking it down with you guys. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. I hope you guys are looking after yourselves. You guys make it worth me talking about these things. Thank you guys so much. I hope to see you guys again in another video. Bye bye, guys.